If I'd realized you guys hated me talking so much. Just kidding. All right. Okay, it looks like everyone's there we go. Okay. 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 Oh, 3 people in the waiting room. Okay. I think we're good now. All right. Wait for everyone to get connected. It's recording. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so what I was talking about was that consistency compounds, and that a lot of times when we start showing up consistently, we'll have where you're like, I don't know if this is working. You may even see like less interaction, and you're like, what the heck? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. What in the world? Oh, she's right there. Hang on, guys. Okay. Okay. So we'll be sitting there and we're thinking, is this worth it? I don't know, right? And you might even be thinking to yourself, is it worth my time to put in the effort, right? To make reels, to go live, to even just, think about going live, right? Because sometimes that can be a lot. So one of the things that she talks about is that it compounds. So you're going along and then all of a sudden you get this big jump, and all of that hard work is totally worth it when all of a sudden it explodes, right? And then you keep going. You can't just stop because you got big.
My son is Tim Hutton.
So she said that, and then kind of funneling into that, she said, scarcity creates scarcity. I'm going to type these out so you guys can see it, because I feel like even though it's simple, it's like it's easier to read it and process. So consistency always compounds. Scarcity creates scarcity. And those go hand in hand. So when I gave the example of like, I don't have time for that, one of the things that she's talked a lot about is the importance of talking to your potential recruits and getting them on the phone and having an actual real life conversation with them. And I know that that can be really uncomfortable. I will own it. I don't like talking on the phone. It really stresses me out a lot of time because I have a hard time paying attention, and all these things, all these reasons, right? And like, I'll own it. I'm a millennial, and millennials typically don't like talking on the phone, right? But there is something to be said for being able to hear people's tone of voice, for being able to have a conversation and really be present. And she talks about being present, and not just like, oh, okay, yes, I'm paying attention to you, but making space for what needs to be said and respecting what needs to be said and people's time with that, right? And that sometimes we'll get scarcity around that with time. And that will say, well, I don't have 15 minutes to get on the phone with this girl that doesn't even know if she wants to do this. She's going to say no. She's going to, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot to unpack with those kinds of thoughts. But that's a scarcity mindset around time. And I had never considered that. And the second she said that, I immediately thought about reels and that I have a scarcity mindset around reels and how long it takes me. And, I'm going to spend all my time making these, and then I'm going to save them as drafts and they're going to get deleted because, that happens, right? But it's kind of true with anything, right? Like scarcity creates scarcity. And that it's almost this self-fulfilling prophecy of as I'm thinking this thought, I'm actually creating it as a reality, which then reaffirms to me that scarcity thought that I had at first. So I don't have time to make reels because I'm a really busy mom and my husband's not here. Okay. So then I'm creating that. I'm not being present and creating the time and space I need to make a couple of reels, which, let's be real, half an hour to make a couple, right? but I don't make that time. So then it doesn't happen. And then I get on a call like this and I'm like, well, I didn't do it because I'm so busy. I have kids and I have all these things going on. And I've just gone full circle. And it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my business. It doesn't serve my team or my customers or my followers, which is kind of the whole reason I got into this business was to serve, right? So I just really like that just has hit home with me. And I feel like I've been processing it for a really long time, for the last day. But I would love to know kind of just what scarcity thoughts do you guys have around any of this? Noah's going to come in here. Around any of this, as far as showing up consistently or even recruiting, since we're talking about the recruiting bash. What are some of those negative little thoughts that pop into your head that you know aren't serving you? And I know silence is really uncomfortable, but I am going to wait.
I'll go. I guess, yeah, I kind of can relate to you, Elizabeth, a little bit about the whole Reels thing. Like, I know they're so beneficial and I know that's how you grow, but I tell myself the same things. Like, I don't have time. Today I was like, I should do a Reel, but then I was like, well, then I have to edit it. And then I have to do this. And then I have to find a song. So I know I'm making it harder than it truly entirely is. But that's where I'm stuck, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me more about which part feels most overwhelming to you? Is it finding the songs or is it, the actual filming of it or the editing part? Which part do you feel like holds you back?
I feel like the part that's holding me back, I guess it's not so much the songs, because I feel like they're not terribly hard to find. It's more of like the ideas of what I should do the Reel on is I think where I make it my excuse, I guess. Like, oh, I don't know what I should do, or, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, then, I don't know how many of you were able to get on Jessica's WAM last week, but she actually had some really great ideas about this. And as far as like a website to find some of the audio clips that are like trending, which to me kind of goes into the time thing, because if you don't want to waste a ton of time finding the right audio clip, this is like a little shortcut, right? The Enneagram 3 in me loves that. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I don't have to do all of these things. I can get straight to the money. And so I would utilize that kind of that working smarter, not harder. But then I guess my next question is, how long do you think it would take you to do some of it, like to do a Reel? You thought about doing one today. How long do you think it would actually take you to find the audio, to record it and edit it and post it?
Probably not that long. Probably 5 minutes, to be honest. I don't know.
No, you're okay.
I mean, I'm sure sometimes, yes, it should take me longer than that, but I mean, they're super short, and yeah, it's not like you have to, whatever. It doesn't take long. It's just, like I said, it's more of an excuse that I have in my mind.
No, that's okay. So, like, we can totally talk about it. Because I don't think you're alone in this. I think we all have these moments, whether it's going live or making a Reel where we're like, I don't have time. But then we sit down and we're like, but how long does it actually take? It takes me more than 5 minutes. I will own that. Even with saving audios, like I have to dig through and find them, right? So what I'm wondering though is, when is a time today that you can film one? Like physically today that you can commit to do it?
Or I guess, yeah, right. I mean, I don't really have anything planned other than washing my bedding and doing my laundry today. So yeah, I don't have an excuse because I am at home today. So okay. Well,
you just like coached yourself through this. So with that, what I would do, and going back to that smarter, not harder, utilizing some of the tools that Jessica has given us with like audio clips and stuff like that, I would do a couple at a time, like film them and then sit down and edit them all like back to back. Carrie says she records herself whenever she does her makeup, so she has videos. That's so smart. I need to get better at doing that, actually. Edit when I can, post it when I can. I love that. I love that. So it's just, I think, like Beth said, like we make up excuses, even though we know like it's not serving us. It's not a huge production, right? But anyways, yeah, I believe in you, Beth. You can do this. Does anyone have anything else? Can I pick, Carrie? I don't know if you're working. Can I pick on you? Because she's also doing the reboot. I would love to hear what your biggest takeaway has been.
Hey, sure, you can pick on me. I don't know that there's the biggest takeaway because it was all so good. One thing that I did learn is that I am a hype girl. So I love to hype up the makeup, which apparently is not the thing to do. So that really stuck with me. The whole belief triad was really just like mind blowing. It's like, you know, I have seen, so I listened to Bob Heilig's podcast, and he's all about love, serve, grow. You have to believe in what you're doing. You know, it comes across if you don't. So I have seen myself go from, ooh, that scarcity belief where it's like, does this makeup really do what I said it did, what I say it does? And do I really believe in it? I mean, can people really make money? You know, that whole inner dialogue. But when I really started to believe it, like really truly believe it, everything changed. And it was like, yes, 100%, this makeup is amazing. And if you try it, you will love it. If you don't, you probably have the wrong colors, you know? So it's like, once you really firmly believe what you're saying, anything's possible. So the whole belief thing was really, really good. Maybe that was my top takeaway.
Yeah, no, now I feel silly I didn't bring it up, because as you're talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, she talked about that for a long time and it was so good. One of the things she said, kind of along with the belief, is that when you're talking to a potential artist and you ask her objections, or she shares an objection with you, that sometimes that can be really triggering to us, right? She's like, well, this is a scam. Like pyramid schemes are a scam. And you're like, okay, but we're like the good pyramid scheme, right? And you feel really defensive and you're triggered by it, is probably a sign that you kind of on some level believe that she's right. And that kind of was a smack across the face to me, because it got me thinking about even recently some of the things I've shied away from. Maybe when someone asked me what I did for a living, back in February, going to the leadership retreat, the corporate leadership retreat, someone asked me, what do you do? Like, why are you flying? And I said, oh, I'm going to a work conference. He said, oh, what is it for? And I said, oh, I'm in network marketing. And I could see on his face that he didn't approve of that. And it made me feel bad. And then I was like, why do I feel bad? Like, this is dumb, right? And so when she said that, it really got my wheels turning, and it got me thinking about the way that we even show up in our live videos, and the way we show up in our TikTok videos and reels and parties and in-home group stuff, and just daily conversations with our customers and our teams. Are we validating their objections because we also believe that? It's kind of hard to unpack, right? And we all have those limiting beliefs. Like, that's how we grow. We work through those. but being able to recognize and acknowledge that that's what's happening is huge. That is where the growth actually happens. You have to be able to see it to start working on it. And, you know, she talks a lot about brain science. Like, our brains are hardwired to keep us safe. So that like, well, feeling in your gut, that's just your brain being like, don't die. Okay. Like, stay safe, please. So yeah, starting a new business is scary and your brain's not going to like it. But when you acknowledge it and you recognize that that's what's happening, you can work past that physiological response and maybe some of that mindset stuff and say, what's actually going on here? How can I work through this? So I just really love that. And I think it, again, like the belief stuff that Carrie's talking about, it goes through, it's more than recruiting. It's this entire business. It's our lives, really. Yeah, I'm going to check the chat really quick. Downplay my passion and my job as a Seint sister. Yeah. I think that's a really common one, that we maybe get embarrassed. I feel the same way when someone asks what you do. Yeah. So what do you think? Do one of you want to come off mute and be picked on? I mean, coached. Sorry. Just kidding. Bethany, you raised your hand. Let's do it.
What's up?
Hi. You guys, Bethany has the best energy. I love when Bethany talks. She's so
I'm a
fun.
hot mess today. I've been in the goat pen all day, so it's just, you know, excuse this.
No, don't even worry about it, right? Okay. So when someone asks you what you do, what is your first thought?
Honestly, my stomach turns. I get this kind of like, because I know how people feel about these kind of jobs. So my instant, because I was the same way. If somebody came to me, they were selling, you know, something else, that was their job. I felt the same way when they told me what they did. It was kind of like, oh, you know, you feel like that person's going to be like super salesy to you now that you've asked them what they do, and you think that person that's the seller is going to start pushing you. So I guess for me, when somebody asks me what I do, you know, even just a random, like, you know, I'm at a group and a man asks me, oh, well, what do you do? And I tell him, I still get that like stomach turn, like, what are they going to think of me? And that's the problem.
Okay. So let's dive in. What do you think of you being in network marketing?
I mean, I think I'm awesome, but
I love it. You are awesome.
I mean, it's so hard to get out of that mindset of, I don't really know what the word is. You know what I'm talking about? It's hard to get out of that mindset of, people are going to think you're cringy.
Okay. So what does cringy mean to you? Like what, or salesy? What are those? What does that look like to you? What does that person look like to you?
A used car salesman.
Okay. Do you know, like really in a lot of network marketing, do you know a lot of people that are that way?
Mama.
Or are most more like you?
Yeah, I know a few. I get the messages, the constant messages from other things, and it's, you know, I mean, I do know a few.
Yeah. So then shifting back to you and how you view yourself, you said I'm awesome, which I can attest to. You are awesome at this. And really, like, I'm looking at all the people on this call right now. Every single person on this call does a fantastic job with this. Would you describe yourself or anyone on this call as spammy or salesy or cringy?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And we've got like what, 17 people on here? So I think one of the things is that we know that there's this perceived notion about network marketing, but we also know that there's this whole other group, right, of people that are not that. But if we're not speaking up about that, then how will anyone ever know right? How would anyone ever know that people actually do make money in network marketing, that there's a better way to do it? All these things. So I think there is a level of discomfort and growth in having to acknowledge it. But I also think recognizing, like you said, Bethany, that like turning stomach, like, oh, this makes me really uncomfortable and I don't like how this feels. And instead of running away from it, saying, I'm going to lean into this. This is what I do. This is why I love it. I hope that was helpful.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I kind of coached myself there, but yeah.
No, it was definitely helpful. I mean, because I know it's like, I know that I absolutely love doing this. I love it, everything about it. It's just like, I have to get out of that mindset. And I think that's the hardest part, is getting out of your own head and being like, do this. You are great at this. Do it.
Yeah. One of the things she talks about is that scarcity stops action. And I think we've all felt that, right? That negative thought runs through our mind, which is usually rooted in scarcity. And what happens? We don't act. We sit there, we're stress paralyzed, or we, instead of, going and doing the reel, we're like, well, I'm gonna organize my desk. I'm gonna go listen to a podcast. Right? So it halts that action that actually would bring the growth that we want, that we actually want. So I totally agree. Grace says, people tend to clam up. None of my sister-in-laws will talk makeup with me because they don't wear Seint and they don't want to buy it or be sold to. That's funny. You know what I would do? She actually talked about this with recruiting. If someone like directly was like, I don't know, like I heard that she used clothing. And she's like, I heard, that your leggings like don't hold up after a couple of washes. And she said, you know what you say to that? You respond and you say, do you really think that I would sell you a crappy product? And like, that's a tough conversation for sure. But I mean, it's not, it's true. Would any of you want to make someone feel uncomfortable? Would any of you want to sell someone crappy makeup? No, of course not. Of course not. So I think that's a tough one to work through, but it also might be one of those where you stop and you say, we can still talk about makeup. You don't have to wear Seint. I just love makeup and that women can feel good about themselves. And that kind of opens that door to like, okay, cool. Like we're good. Okay. Deborah raised her hand. Go ahead and come off mute. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to touch base back with what Bethany was saying, because it really resonated with me as well. I find it really strange. I've always worked full-time. I did work full-time and now I'm semi-retired. I love Seint. My daughter actually introduced it to me. I was like, wow, this really was a game changer in makeup for me. So I'm super passionate about it. And interesting enough, because I feel like maybe I was too judgy as well, like what Bethany was saying about people that were online businesses. And it almost takes me back to when I can relate now to when a girlfriend would be a stay-at-home mother and we were at a party, say back in 1999. And she would really downplay her being a stay-at-home mom. And I feel like that's how I feel uncomfortable about when I say to somebody, recently someone said, oh, what do you do? Or, oh, Deb, you're selling makeup or something in a group of girls. And I kind of like downplayed what I did. I was like, oh, it's just makeup. Like I kindly stepped back out of it instead of taking the opportunity and going, yes, I'm selling this great makeup and look at this case and because that's how I feel inside. Right. So I really actually did myself no service by going, oh, it's just makeup. And I used to be a manager at Safeway. Like that has nothing to do with what I'm doing now. So I'm babbling now, but I just wanted to touch base with that. Like,
no, that's really, really good point. And I think it's something every single person on this call can relate to and understand. Like I'm seeing so many heads nodding where they're like, yeah, I've done that. Or yeah, I remember that in the 90s, like being a big thing. And I just want to point out that like being a stay-at-home mom used to be downplayed. And now it is 1000% like stay-at-home moms are rocking the Instagram world, right? Like it is the time of the stay-at-home mom or just anyone. Like we've seen a shift there. And I firmly believe we're going to see that shift in network marketing as well from people like you guys that are showing up and showing how it can be done well.
So I really like what Bethany just said about just removing just, because it really does no justice to what we do and the product. So if I can ask somebody who's way better at this sort of thing than I am, what would be in that scenario, just role playing, what would you suggest? How would you approach that conversation? Okay, so hey, Elizabeth, I heard you're selling this new makeup. Can you just, if this is a stupid thing to do, don't do it, but just thanks.
No, yeah. And I would, it's not stupid. Like, don't downplay it, friend. Like, I would say, yeah, I actually am partnered with a company that sells quick and easy makeup for moms, which is something I care a lot about. And it has been a really good fit for me. It's really blessed our family. And I feel like, and there might be people who have better things that they say. And if you have something, tell us, because I can learn from this too. But that's kind of how I've handled it is nobody, and this is some of my own like belief issue coming up, just be vulnerable with that. But when you say something like, this has been a really big blessing for us, people aren't going to argue with you about that. They're not going to shame you for that. Like Jessica and her cows, that's been a blessing for her, right? Yeah. I don't like cows. In fact, I'm a little bit terrified of cows. I've seen how they get checked for when they're pregnant, and it is horrific. Okay. But does my fear of cows and my disdain for cows take away from Jessica's joy and blessing from having them? Not at all. Not at all. So I kind of feel like people can look at it and say, oh, that's not for me, but I'm really happy for you and that's for you, right? And so I think when we show up with that expectation, like, hey, you might not like this, but it's really been a blessing for my family, people respect that. And I think we just have to step into ownership on that. Okay, you guys, this was good. Really liked this. Does anyone have any last thoughts before, I don't want to take up too much time, before we jump off?
I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Hi. So I remember like when the pandemic first started and like a lot of people couldn't work and stuff, and then stuff started slowly opening up. I feel like I look at cashiers differently now. I've never been a cashier, but like I feel like people would be like, oh, I just work at Family Dollar. And now it's like, you worked at Family Dollar, like you were like the president, like you know, like you were a football star because like you worked at Family Dollar. So that's how I feel about like our jobs. Like we shouldn't be ashamed to make money because we actually chose this. Like some people fall into their job. Like they just fall into McDonald's and it's like, oh, you work at McDonald's? Like, remember when you were stuck at home? Where did you go, you know, twice a day? McDonald's. So that whole just mentality, like, boom, take that out your head. Like I chose to work from my phone. That's my favorite thing to say. Like I work from my phone. I do. I chose to help other women to feel confident and better about themselves. Like we're choosing this. We paid $1.99. Normally you don't pay to start a job. But you just walk into McDonald's or wherever, I don't know, someplace besides like maybe a uniform or something. But you see what I mean? So we really need to, like, whatever you have, just throw it out the window and just be like, this is what we do. And like shoulders back, line, like, no, this is awesome. And sorry, whether or not you want to recruit or whatever, but we need to really like talk with confidence. That was it.
I love that. I have had goosebumps on my arms a couple of times while we've been talking. When Carrie was talking, I definitely was like feeling the feels. Same with Bethany and Deborah and now Arlene. Like I hope that you guys feel this, that you feel the growth that can happen from some of these honestly small shifts. You know, we start on this path and you just shift a little tiny bit and it takes you a totally different direction. And I so firmly believe that everyone on this call can get on that path that's right for them, that's going to take them to their goals. And not like an end goal, but a legacy and a pathway that just keeps going, right? Because we don't ever want to just stop. So I hope that this was helpful to you guys. I am feeling very edified. So thank you for letting me get on here and ramble. And I hope that you guys have a great day. I did not see any new homework, so I'm assuming she'll post that later or something, and we'll figure it out. So thanks, guys. Oh, we should take a picture though, right? Always need a picture. Okay, let's look cute. Jessica's gonna look really cute with her weird zoomed in picture on this. It's gonna be fun. Gonna tag her in it. All right, ready, set. Oh, perfect. Anyone else coming? Yeah, we've got a few more faces. Okay. Okay, I got it. I will share it in the post she did with the link. I'll put it in there in the comments. So if you guys want to snag mine, you can. Okay, guys, have a happy Thursday.